So let's expand the concept of line a little bit further by talking about direction. Direction is the sense of where your eyes should move through an image, whether it's up, down, left, right, backwards, or forwards. Line gives us a sense of direction of where our eyes should move towards. There are, however, other ways we can create a sense of direction within our image. So there's implied direction, which is essentially where things are facing. Now, a person is a great sense of implied direction. We know based on my face now that I'm looking over here. But we don't have to just have people as our implied sense of direction givers. Looking at a chair, there's a natural front or back to that chair. And the direction in which that chair might be facing, our eyes will tend to go. Now, if we think about almost any object or subject, generally they seem to have a face or a back to them. It's kind of a natural human intuition to want to anthropomorphize everything. We can use that sense of making things look as if they're facing in certain directions to move our view around the image. Another option is to use triangles. So if we have any 3 points of interest within an image, generally our eyes are going to dot around those triangles. And in particular, we might be able to use some of the other senses of direction. If we can draw an actual line between each of those, or we can have those 3 subjects facing one another, this will keep us moving around our image. Another option of creating a sense of direction in our imagery is through eye line. So as I've said before, where it's literally where someone is looking, forces us to look in the same direction as them. Then another option is light. Light has a sense of direction to it. If it arrives in the right of the frame and exits in the left of the frame, it gives an overall sense of directional flow to the image. Now we can either have a subject or objects agree with that sense of direction, it makes a harmonious image, or we can have them disagree with it and create a little bit more tension and contrast. And then a final way that we can use direction in our imagery is through actually capturing movement. If we have a person or a car or a dog or something that's clearly moving in that image, that creates a sense of direction too. Our eyes will follow from the back to the front of that subject and onto where it is that we expect them to be moving into. So again, why do we want to create movement in our imagery through these techniques? It encourages the viewer to explore the image more freely, and therefore they'll find it more satisfying to look at. Understanding and using direction focuses the attention of our viewer. It can convey a sense of movement. Finally, and most importantly, it can be used to tell a story, taking us from one point to another within the story, creating a sense of visual grammar. So let's recap the subject. Lines can be found in many different ways. They can exist literally as a line, like a railing, for example, or they can be more implied, where many things have been aligned together that have a sense of an edge to them. And the direction of a line has an implication. Horizontal lines don't carry much emotion. Vertical lines move us up and down the image, creating a sense of power. Diagonal lines have a strong sense of speed, moving us down them. The stronger the gradient of the diagonal line, the more exaggerated the sense of speed moving along them is. When we see lines in an image, our eyes tend to move down them. We can place our subject or objects in an image on the line so we can draw attention to them. Then there's direction. Direction is a sense of flow in imagery. One of the ways we can create direction in imagery is through the way in which things face. We can even have several things facing one another. We can have triangles where we have 3 points of interest in imagery that move us from point to point. And light creates an overall sense of direction in our imagery from where it arrives and where it exits the frame. Finally, where people are looking in our imagery guides our eye.